Hi, everybody. Well, this is the official start of the program now, so we're just so glad to see so many people come. It's always a thrill. Hank and I have been hosting the backroom events for well over 5 years. We're well into our sixth year now, and each one is just like it's still a treat. We just really love talking to readers, writers, talking about writing. So if you're here for the first time, I think you're going to really enjoy yourself. For those who don't know me, I'm Karen Dion. I'm the author of the award-winning #1 internationally best-selling psychological suspense, The Marsh King's Daughter. I got to thank Sweden for that. And The Wicked Sister. And they're both set in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, where I lived for a lot of years. The Marsh King's Daughter has been translated into 28 languages, and iBooks named it one of the best novels of the year it came out, and it won a couple of awards too. And then in 2023, it was released in theaters as a major motion picture starring Daisy Ridley and Ben Mendelsohn, which was pretty amazing. And I had two people tell me today that when they turned on their Roku TV, it was being advertised. So I don't know. Anyways, it's available on streaming now, and as you might imagine, it's a very fun thing for an author to have that happen. My co-host, co-founder, better half is Hank Philippi Ryan, and she is the USA Today bestselling author of 16 psychological thrillers. She's won the genre's most prestigious awards. She's won 5 Agathas, 5 Anthonys, and the coveted Mary Higgins Clark Award. She's also an investigative reporter for Boston's WHDH-TV, and she's won 37 Emmys for her groundbreaking journalism. National book reviewers call her a superb and gifted storyteller. Her most recent book is the cat and mouse thriller All This Could Be Yours, which was an instant USA Today bestseller. And she has a book coming out this September, August, September. She's going to be a guest in the back room at that time. So mark your calendars. We'll be announcing our summer season soon, and she'll be able to tell us all about her new book then. Before I introduce our authors, I just wanted to mention a little bit about how the back room came to be. So Hank and we were supposed to do a book event at a bookstore in Ann Arbor, Michigan, August 4, 2020. And if that date kind of rings a bell, it will tell you that it was during the pandemic, the first pandemic summer. Bookstores were pivoting to online events, but it was all very new for everybody. So our event was online, and as grateful as we were to have the opportunity to still go through with the event, um, Hank and I realized that the big drawback about doing things online was that we couldn't see the audience. We didn't know who was there. You couldn't talk to the audience. So we put our heads together and we came up with the format for the back room. And as I mentioned, we've been doing this now for 5 years, 6 years we're in our sixth year. And so the format is really workable. And again, if you're here for the first time, you'll see what fun it is in the breakout rooms when you have a chance to talk to these authors directly instead of just watching a screen. And so I also want to mention something new that we're doing after all those years. We created a Substack. It's called After Hours at the Back Room. And what the Substack does is it collates all of the information from our events and to article form. So if you miss an event, you can go, catch up on the authors who were there at that event by going to the Substack. And likewise, they'll be recommending books this evening, and their book recommendations, not just the title of the book, but what they thought about the book and why they thought the book was special. All of that will be available on the Substack too. So, got to change with the times, right? And so that's what we have, and we're very proud of it because it's a very lovely and comprehensive summary of what the backroom event was all about. All right, now what we're here for. We'll meet these wonderful authors. I'm going to introduce them alphabetically. So start with you, Nicole. Nicole Blades is a novelist and journalist with nearly 2 decades of experience in the media industry. Her cover stories and features have been published in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Runner's World, Women's Health, and more. Her new book, got it there? You want to hold it up, Nicole? Would I Lie to You? Will be out April 21. Let's see. Next week? Yeah, very nice. April 21. This is a domestic thriller that joins her previous novels, Have You Met Nora, The Thunder Beneath Us, and Earth's Waters. I like to pull a quote of what somebody says about the book. We'll talk about the book in the breakout rooms, of course, but this was Attica Locke, and she's an amazing writer. She wrote, "What a banger of a book. The story of a mother caught between her family and her duty to a criminal organization she's desperately trying to break out of had me on the edge of my seat and rooting for Lou Barlow on every page." I like that. What a banger of a story. That's pretty awesome. And so that's Nicole. Nice to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. Our next author is Sara Maurer. Sara lives with her family in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Yay. For those who don't know me, I lived in the UP for 30 years, so this is super fun to have Sara with us tonight because this is where her book is set as well. She earned her bachelor's degree from Albion College and her master's from Eastern Michigan University. She honed her creative writing craft while completing Stanford's Continuing Studies Novel Writing Certificate program. Her short fiction can be found in Dunes Review, Homonym Journal, and the Twin Bill. Her first novel, her debut novel, hold it up, is called A Good Animal, and it published February 24 of this year. Publishers Weekly gave it a starred review. That's a big deal if you're not aware of the industry magazine Publishers Weekly. And they wrote, Maurer's dazzling debut is a deeply felt examination of the heartbreaking choices people make for love. Sounds awesome, Sara. Can't wait to hear more about it in the breakout room. Nick Petrie, he's our old timer tonight. He's been around a long time in the industry.
Why is my book backwards? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I'm seeing it correctly.
Oh, all right.
Must-
Maybe it's
Yeah,
my eyes. Who knows?
all right. Must be your screen. Did you write it backwards too? Maybe that has something to do with it, you know?
I did not. I tend to write from start to finish as
All
opposed to the
right.
other way around. Yeah.
Go figure. All right. Nick's first novel, The Drifter, won the ITW Thriller and Barry Awards. That's huge. It was nominated for the Edgar, Anthony, and Hammett Awards. Nick was named one of Apple's 10 writers to read in 2017. Another thriller, Light It Up, was named the best thriller of 2018 by Apple Books and was nominated for a Barry Award, along with The Breaker, his sixth novel. His current novel, the most recent one, that's the one we're holding up, is The Dark Time, and it published March 10. And I pulled a quote from Auline Cogdill. I don't know if she's here tonight, but she often comes to the backroom events. She loves them. And she wrote, Petrie again melds high-octane action with deep character studies in The Dark Time. It delivers a gripping plot that is both timely and timeless. And again, thank you for coming, Nick, and we can't wait to hear all about your novel in the breakout rooms.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And for those of you who are looking at Cynthia Swanson and saying, well, wait a minute, what happened to David McCloskey? Cynthia generously offered to step in at the last minute, and we can't thank you enough for rounding out our foursome tonight. It's so great to hear you, have you here. I'll get it out when David was unable to come at the last minute. Cynthia is no slouch. She was named 2025 Indie Author of the Year by the Indie Author Project. And she's the author of three novels of psychological suspense and a forthcoming short story collection. And it's a short story collection she'll be talking about tonight. This isn't new. Women's Historical Stories is forthcoming in May 21, 2026. And the blurb that I chose for that is from Martin J. Smith. He's the award-winning author of Going to Trinidad, a Doctor, a Colorado Town. He wrote, Cynthia Swanson's This Isn't New collection is as infuriating as it is extraordinary. I couldn't resist that. You would think that's a contradiction, but no, I'm sure when we talk to her in the breakout room, we'll learn exactly why he wrote that about her story of women dealing with injustice through the centuries. I should mention also Cynthia's debut novel, The Bookseller, was a New York Times bestseller, an Indie Next Selection, winner of the 2016 Willa Literary Award for Historical Fiction, and is translated into 18 languages. And her second novel, The Glass Forest, was a USA Today bestseller. And her third novel, Anyone But Her, won the 2025 Colorado Book Award and was named 2024 Best Mystery Thriller by the Indie Author Project. So, isn't this a fantastic group that we have with us tonight? I'm, like I say, I'm just beyond excited, and I know we're going to have some great discussions. Right now, we're going to play a quick little game of not quite 20 questions. And this will give you, the audience, a chance to get to know these authors a little bit. We have official backroom cards, you see here, with questions on the bag and everything. And so this time I'm going to ask questions in the order I see you on the screen. Cynthia, you're at the top of my screen. So I just want to ask you, what's your ideal way to spend a day?
Ideal way to spend the day. Writing is certainly at the top of the list. It always is. I write before I do anything else. But if I had my own way and it was an ideal day, I would do that without any other interruptions. I actually sometimes have the good fortune of being able to do that. I live in Denver, Colorado, but we also have a place up in the mountains, and it's like a no shakes, nothing exciting about it, 80s condo, but I live by myself quite often and I'll just write. So I get to be able to kind of roll out of bed and as long as I want, and then go for a walk or go for a swim or go for a hike and then come back and work some more. And honestly, it really is an ideal day when I can spend that much time completely focused because as all of us know who are authors, you get fragmented into so many. So when I do that, I try to discipline myself and just spend the time on that and not jump into social media or other kinds of projects that are going on and just stick to the writing.
I'm with you. That sounds like a very nice day. I wouldn't mind a day like that for sure. Yeah, thank you. Nicole, what's your least favorite chore? Could be household or writing related. What do you hate having to do?
Oh my goodness. Least favorite chore. If we're talking household, it's cleaning the bathrooms, the
Mhm.
tub and the toilet. Ugh, that's my least favorite. In terms of working and writing, my least favorite is the waiting,
Mhm.
waiting for responses. The whole hurry up and wait of it all it's really tests your patience. So that's my least favorite part of the process.
Yeah, I see heads nodding. Everybody, we all agree, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, thank you. And Sarah, what is your favorite season? I'm asking her this for a reason because Sarah lives in Michigan's Upper Peninsula and you've still got snow on the ground, yes?
I could turn and you could see out my window the amount of snow we still have.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's been never ending. So I think you automatically know my answer is probably going to be not winter. It's probably summer just because I love to get outside a little more. But um, I recently wrote an essay about the importance of the winter to the Upper Peninsula, to the Yooper culture. And with that in mind, I recognize how important it is. Do I love it? No. Do I recognize its importance? Yes. And I try and get outside as much as I can when I'm outside, when it's winter as well.
Thanks, thanks. And having lived there myself, it's not just the snow. It lasts for 5 months of the year. So, winter is a big deal in the UP. Exactly. I would love to read your essay. Thanks. All right, Nick, what do you like to do in your free time?
Margaret, my lovely bride, was just telling me that I need some more hobbies. Mostly what I do is get outside and hike and walk. So where we live, I'm a block and a half from Lake Michigan. So I go visit the lake every day. It looks different every day. Those of you who live in Colorado probably feel the same way about the mountains that I feel about the lake. And then the other direction, I'm about 6 blocks from the Milwaukee River. So there's this 6 mile loop that I do on a regular basis, where you really, for chunks of it, you really feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere, and then you hear some traffic or a dog bark or something, and you're back in the world. But that's my both my recreation and my respite from writing. There's a great creativity really benefits from both movement and nature. I have found that personally, and there's a whole bunch of research that supports that too.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. And I live on a little lake surrounded by woods, and I spend a lot of time outside and not at my desk. Yeah. Uh, Cynthia, your next question, it's a really hard one. Do you have any pets?
Do. And, I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't come and jumped up here. I have my cat who's out in the office with me right now. His name is Bolt. He's 14 years old and he sleeps in a little bed basically in my office most of the time. And then I have two dogs. And unfortunately, one of the dogs is fairly new to us. His name is Milo, and he's a rescue, and he's lovely. But Bolt is not at all jazzed about him. So right now we have them completely separated, and we are trying to work very hard on integration. I don't know if any of you guys have gone through pet integration, but it's pretty stressful. So it's a really tough time. And then I have another dog, Molly, and Molly gets along with everybody. Molly gets along with the cat, gets along with the other dog. So I don't know. I don't really understand the dynamics. We're trying to figure it out. We're working with a trainer and hoping for the best.
Well, animals do have their own personalities, and maybe
Right.
they just don't click. Yeah.
I know. I don't know what we're going to do if that's the case. I mean, he might be just kind of stuck hanging out back here. He gets the run of the house at nighttime. Well, we crate Milo, and then Bull gets the run of the house at night at bedtime. But it's yeah, and he's not unhappy. I mean, he's 14 years old. He spends most of his time sleeping anyway. So I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens. He comes to the mountains with me though. I actually do take my cat with me to the mountains.
Mhm.
When we go as a family, we take the dogs. But when I go by myself, I often will take him, and it's kind of like cat vacation. He loves it up there because it's nice, sunny seat. He can sit there and he can watch the birds and just spend the whole day. I think there's sometimes he kind of wonders like, why don't we just live here, you and me? you know, do we need those other people? Do we need those dogs? This is plenty. This little condo, you and me. That's all. You
I
know?
have no doubt that's what the cat is thinking.
I think that's what he's thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Nicole, did you always want to be a writer?
Yes and no. Yes, internally, in my mind, in my heart. But I grew up in Montreal. I'm from a Caribbean household. My parents are from Barbados. My family's from Barbados. And traditionally, Caribbean folks, and I know other cultures might have the same thing, there are essentially five jobs that they think your parents think that you should be looking into. It's a doctor, a banker, the sort of traditional jobs. And I think growing up, it was not hammered into us, but that was the idea. So in my mind, I was thinking where could I fit in, my love for reading and stories? How could I slot that into these sort of limited jobs? And at one point, I decided I was going to be a lawyer because I figured that was one way of telling a story. But when I went to York University in Toronto, I ended up my major was mass communications with another. I had a double major, so it was mass communications and psychology. So, I was leaning towards something, but at the same time, not sure how to say, okay, this is going to be my job. So I decided I was going to be a lawyer, and I remember so clearly where I was. I was taking the LSAT, and I remember what I was wearing. I remember how stuffy the room was. And in the middle of it, I was like, I don't want to do this. I do not want to do this. I know this for sure. In fact, I didn't even check my results. I was just like, that's it. So at the time at the university, I was also working at the university's newspaper. So then I started thinking about, well, journalists tell stories, but they're just based in facts and real life. So that's kind of what led me down the path away from lawyering and
Mm.
toward storytelling and journalism, and then eventually writing fiction.
Cool, cool. Dare I say the world is better for it? We don't need another lawyer.
I think I agree.
Yeah. Sarah, what's something that you wish you knew more about?
I wish I knew more about trees. And it's something that I'm going to be focusing on in my next book. And I have an interview scheduled with a professor at Lake Superior State University to talk to her about trees in the area. And a lot of the area where I live has been cleared for farmland. And I'm really curious what it looked like before settlement, when there was the pristine, unlogged forest here. So that's going to be the basis of my conversation with her.
That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Tree. I love it. I can relate.
There's a Canadian researcher, a woman whose last name is Simard, who has some really interesting research about how trees communicate through fungal spores, interspecies communication. It's crazy stuff. It's super interesting if you haven't read her stuff.
I haven't, but I did just read the overstory, which kind of talks about how
Oh
trees
yeah.
to each other, and that was really mind blowing to read that book. But how do you spell her last name?
Simard.
Okay.
And I think she has a new book out, but it was her first one that I I don't even know if I don't think I've read it, but I read an article about her and it,
Okay.
probably in the New Yorker, which is the my version of sort of the best nonfiction out there is the New Yorker.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. That was unexpected and very helpful. Awesome.
I'm
And
a
Nick,
tree guy too.
I think you've already answered this question. I wrote it down. Were you a good student?
I was an okay student. I was in high school. I wasn't interested in any of it, except for English class, and I was on the student newspaper. I didn't become a real student until college when nobody was paying attention or telling me what to do, and so I sort of invented my own little path, which is kind of how the rest of my life has unfolded. I've been self-employed since I was 22 years old. Um, so I am a very interested in the world and in learning stuff. I never enjoyed the classroom very much.
Yeah. And one of the things about being a writer, and we're all novelists, is you can choose what you want to know more about. Sarah wants to know more about trees. She's going to learn trees, all about trees. And, so whatever we're writing about is something that interests us, and then we dive deeper into learning about it. It's pretty cool. Better than going to school, I think. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all. Your answers were great and it was a lot of fun. We could do this all evening and I'll bet you nobody would be bored for a second, but we do have to keep the program moving along. Also, all of these authors, not only do they write books, of course, we read books too, and they all came prepped with a book recommendation. So we're just going to run through those very quickly. Cynthia, what book are you recommending that you think other people should read?
I recommend a book called Save Me Stranger by Erica Krauss. It's a short story collection. And full disclosure, she's a friend of mine and colleague that I know here in Colorado. She's amazing. She's an incredible writer. She writes nonfiction, she writes fiction, she kind of does it all. She teaches. This book has won a number of awards. And she's phenomenal. And it's just a fun collection of a really wide variety of different kinds of stories, all very quirky. So if you like quirky and just kind of some things that will take you by surprise, there are a lot of stories in this collection. One of my favorite story is about a guy he's doing assisted living for people up in Alaska, and he's helping them die because he has stage 4 cancer, but then he magically starts becoming better when he's assisting other people with their suicide. So that's the kind of quirkiness we're talking about. It's a really fun collection. I recommend it.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll be hearing more about your short stories and talking about short stories in the breakout room. I think it's kind of an overlooked arena for a lot of people. So thanks for recommending a book of short stories. Nicole, what are you recommending?
I have two, if I may. One is Kin.
Mm.
I'm sure everyone's heard about this one. It's so well done. I'm friendly with Terry, and I think she's like a writer's writer. She cares so deeply about the craft, and it shows on every page. And all of the shine that she's getting is richly deserved. I'm just so happy to see it. It's really such a great story about found friendship, found families, and friendship and sisterhood. It's excellent. The other book that I just finished reading, I'm not a James Patterson person, sorry, but when I saw Viola Davis was involved, I was like, let me read this. It's Judge Stone, so it's Viola Davis, actor Viola Davis, and James Patterson, and like you keep going through it. I mean, the chapters are short, I guess, so that helps. But you're just like, what happens next? What happens next? It's definitely a page turner, and it's set in it's Viola Davis's character. Because I'm thinking this is going to be a movie. It's got to be. But Judge Stone is this Black woman judge in rural Alabama, and it's really gripping story about an abortion case. But there's so much going on, and there's a lot that's kind of unfolds about the community and about the judicial system and how things are working and not working. It's really a fast and really good read.
Well, we'll take your word for it. You say it's a good read, I believe it. Thank you, thank you. And people are saying in the chat that Kin was amazing. They loved that book. So yeah, nice,
Excellent.
nice. And I had not heard of it, so now I have a book on my radar. Thank you. Sarah, what book are you recommending?
I am recommending, it's on my Kindle, so I don't know if it'll come across very well, but I'm recommending Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. And I first picked up this book because of the cover, it's just the slab of raw meat. And of course, the title, it was just so eye-catching. And I could just tell it was going to be a really wild, unapologetic read. And I got into it and I could not put it down. And as soon as I stopped reading it, I picked it up and read it again. And I haven't done that. I don't do that very often. And those kind of books are very few and far between. But I really felt it was like kind of connecting with and embracing your inner animal. I identified with the main character so much because she's this artist struggling with her new identity as a mom. She's no longer practicing her art and how she feels this profound sense of loss. But at the same time, she loves being a mom. And obviously a lot of women feel that way too. And the thing that is the twist in this story, though, because I feel like that's a story everybody's kind of heard before, is that at night, suddenly she finds herself turning into a dog. And when she does this, she feels so free and she's doing all of these unhinged things. And it's really kind of her tapping into that artist that she's been missing and also celebrating the power of motherhood and being a woman. So I absolutely loved it. So I highly recommend.
It
Oh,
was actually made into it's been adapted to a movie with Amy Adams, which was also really good. And I agree with what you're saying about the twist of it all really takes it to another level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, I would normally say don't tell us the twists and the spoilers, but that definitely is one that is elevates the book into something
Yeah,
more.
and that's not really a spoiler. That's like day one. She starts feeling like her thing, or from the first page, she's like, "Oh, I think my teeth are longer," and she feels like some hair growing on the back of her neck. So it's from page one.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds fun. Nick, what book are you recommending tonight?
I'm recommending Tana French, The Searcher. Is that this one? This is the so you may know Tana French from her Dublin Murder Squad books, which are lovely, fantastic, amazing. This is the first in a trilogy, which came much later, and the third one just came out last week or 2 weeks ago. Um, this is an American former cop moves to Ireland to sort of escape himself, and sort of what the job has done to him, and maybe him being not such a great father, and it's sort of him finding his way through this very small, very closed Irish village. He sort of befriends a young person who is challenging and problematic, and it's again like the author of Kin. She is a writer's writer. This is the level of attention to detail and language is absolutely spectacular, and it's a book in which I tend to like books in which a lot of stuff happens, and this is a book where not that much stuff happens, but I am riveted regardless. That her the observations of the landscape and the interior life of this guy and his observing this young person and his observations about the village. I it Usually when I find a new author, I will basically find all their books and read them all in a row. And there are very few, and Tana French is one of them, where I am saving them. Like I am rationing them because she's not super prolific. I think she's written 10 or 11 books, and I've read probably half of them. So a book comes out, yeah, I think typically about every other year for her. So I'm just sort of saving these for just the right minute. But Tana French's The Searcher is one of my all-time favorites. And this is, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old.
Thank you. Thank you. That's fantastic. Thank you all. And, we really appreciate these recommendations because, there's not enough books to read, right? Some people have joked, so the initials for the back room are TBR, so
Mm.
we're building your TBR pile is what we're doing with our recommendations. Thank you all so much. So this concludes our opening session with the all four authors. We're going to shortly go into the breakout rooms. Just very briefly, for those who haven't been here before, the audience is going to be divided into two breakout rooms, and I will oversee one room, and Hank will oversee the other room. You'll have two authors in your room. We don't know which authors, so that will be a surprise. Basically, each breakout room session will last for half an hour, and one author will talk about their book and answer questions for 15 minutes, and then we'll switch to the other author. At the end of that first half-hour session, the authors are going to be automatically switched to the other breakout room. And so, you will see a new set of authors come. We just like to give you a little warning because when that happens, we have no control over it. When the time is up, our tech people will move the authors into the other breakout room. So it's possible you would be in the middle of asking them a question, or they would be in the middle of answering your question, and then poof, they're gone. But that's just the way it works in the back room. And those who've been here from the beginning know it's kind of funny when that happens too. And so when I say go into the breakout room, you don't have to do anything. Our tech people will take care of all of that for you. You might have to unmute yourself if you choose. You certainly are welcome to be unmuted and to have your video on. And we recommend everybody put their screen on gallery view if you haven't done it already. That way you'll be able to see both authors, myself or Hank, and the other people who are in the breakout room with you. When you want to ask questions, and please do ask questions, Hank and I are not here to interview the authors. This is your time, to chat with the authors. And you already met them and you know how fantastic they all are. If you'd like to just make a comment or ask a question, you can raise your hand like this. Hopefully we'll see it. You can also raise your electronic hand. I think most people know how to do that now. Or if you'd rather not ask your question directly, you can post it in the chat. And Hank or I will make sure, yeah, that people see your question, that the authors get a chance to answer them. So, yes, thank you all for coming. This is just going to be an exciting evening, and we'll see you in the breakout rooms.
Wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed this taste of what a backroom event is like. The best part comes immediately after, when the audience is divided into 4 breakout rooms and the authors visit each room in turn. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because these relaxed face-to-face conversations between authors and readers are the hallmark of our backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded. What's said in the back room stays in the back room.